We've always had our pulse on what the customer needs. That was very important, and by seeing this, the building owner would be more inclined to want to choose the Johnson system. So Johnson Controls was very early on in its history utilizing advertisements and catalogs. One in particular was the Johnson system of temperature regulation and how it controlled temperatures in schools. And the pluses that it pointed out here were that it saved fuel, saved labor, and saved time. This was early 1895. Now, Johnson Controls the following year in a magazine called McClure's, and you might think of McClure's as the Reader's Digest of the day. It had articles as well as advertisements. We find on page 60 under architecture a offering for Johnson Controls talking about the domestic situation, keeping our house nice and warm when we need it. And we can see the family is pictured here, and one of their little children is with their arms out with a Johnson thermostat. So very, very interesting way to achieve domestic bliss and harmony. Also, in a similar vein, little cartoon figures, and we can see that they are shackled at last. And the image here of heat looks, interestingly enough, very close to the devil. We've got a polar gentleman, and both of them have their arms connected and their hands clasped, and around them is a Johnson thermostat that's preventing them from doing the evil that they do, I guess. Now, by the 1920s, our ads were getting a little bit more sophisticated. This ad in particular references architects and how to wreck a building as soon as it's completed. And how do you wreck it? You don't have a Johnson system of temperature regulation in it, because you can see the detrimental effects of time if you don't have a temperature control. Humidity causes the wood to warp, and a building is aged before its time. So the architects were encouraged to always look at a Johnson system of temperature regulation to ensure that their buildings are preserved for the long term. Now, by World War II and its aftermath, Johnson Controls is shifting its advertisements to specific buildings as well as specific cities. And in the same way, Johnson also decided to focus on types of buildings. So we see ads for churches, we see ads for libraries and for schools. In this case, this was a nice color ad from 1959 for various motels. As we get towards the current day, we see ads for energy saving. And Johnson Controls was there saying, hey, if you're worried about the energy that you're expending and you want to save it, then look to our system. And then finally, we come to systems that we offer today. And it's not all about energy savings, although it certainly is, but sustainability. And by using our Johnson systems, be they Open Blue or be they Metasys, we can allow building owners to do that. If it's a comfortable building, we can supply that. If it's energy savings, we can supply that as well. And those were the key things that were being talked about at the beginning of our company. And then as history moved on, we had the Great Depression, and we were able to offer a dual thermostat. And as time went on, we look at the effects of pollution, and so much was written about that. People, society in general, not only in the United States, but globally, became aware that we cannot continue on in a world that is as polluted as it is. Johnson Controls had a solution there too, and we have it today.